आउजी
नमस्ते
खाना तोरीको तेल पाउ न
यो लिनुस् नयाँ आएको सस्तो पनि छ
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ धारा साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
cow corner, and it's caused those 3 early wickets that USA couldn't afford.
Well, I think this is one man that an awful lot of Nepal fans will be delighted to see back into the team. Neither you or I could understand why he wasn't playing in the first 2 games, particularly yesterday's match, with the need for another left-hander in the lineup. And this is the other handy little trait that he has. He can bowl some left-arm spin too. It looks pretty innocuous, but it tends to be quite effective. Here's Kushal Malla. He's a very canny bowler, isn't he? He doesn't turn the ball a huge amount. He looks like someone as he approaches the crease who may never have bowled before. But actually, he's very clever and he changes his pace. He watches the batter intently. Look at how late he'll adjust his line and length.
So the reason why he's found so many wickets, again, he has an average of 20, a strike rate of 19.5. He always seems to be amongst those wickets, and he's in a T20 format. He's just a handy guy that changes the flow of the game for certain batters. Smart to bring him in early in the partnership.
It's not a good delivery though. It's a drag down and really good use of the crease from Milan Kumar, who's known as a good player of spin, to get it a long way behind square, and he'll get 4.
Yeah, this will be the battle. Kushal Malla again, handy with the spin, but Milan Kumar has made a name for himself as a great player of spin. Look how far back he gets in his crease, very deep, gets onto the back foot, and he sets himself up to play that very square. There's a fielder at mid-wicket, but very safe once you get it to that backward square leg area.
Yeah, just a bit of a drag down. Hasn't bowled, of course, yet. It's his first appearance. This time he's going to get away with it again, not the right line. Dipender Singh Airi's lack of use in this series has bemused me. And this is from a guy who's probably in the contender as being the player of the series with his contributions when he has been allowed to bat and bowl. He only bowled 1 over yesterday. Why was that?
Yeah, I'm not sure as to why. Again, not many left-handers, but he took wickets in match number 1. His 3 wickets kind of changed, his 2 wickets kind of changed the outlook of the game. And again, it worked for Nepal, but it almost felt that yesterday they were just valuing, just keep the runs to a minimum. We don't want to give up anything, but the 1 over he did bowl, he took a wicket in it. So it has been confusing to see why Airi hasn't been given the ball. But I expect to see him more often today, just because you have a couple more spinners. It seems like they're going to use the spin options more often, especially with Arif Sheikh not having a great start to his day.
I was really surprised to see Sheikh have a bowl. Not something I had on my Stake Stars and Summit Trophy 3rd T20 bingo card. It wasn't going to be hit by Arif Sheikh having a ball. I was actually surprised he retained his place. I thought that they might have had a look at Dev Canal, try and lengthen the batting a little bit, but they would just be so pleased with Kushal Bertel's return to form. As Malla is going to bowl a 9-run over to start with. That'll get us to the drinks break. It's one of the first drinks breaks we've got to without a wicket precipitating it. So it means that the 10th over, for the first time in a while, comes without a wicket. We'll take a break here too in the commentary box. Maybe honours even here. The 3rd T20 it hangs in the balance. USA, having won the toss and elected to bat first, they are 71 for 3.
जितौं 10 लाखको उपहार यसपालिको चाडबाडमा स्क्रैच कार मार्फत जित्नुहोस् 10 लाखसम्मको नगद उपहार साथै चुज योर स्किमबाट छान्नुहोस् रु 10,000 सम्मको थप स्क्रैच कार वा 12,500 बराबरको 5 वर्ष एएमसी प्याकेज वा 7 वर्षसम्म बाइ 1 गेट 1 सर्भिसिङ फ्री अनि बिग बाइक्समा 1 लाख सम्मको डिस्काउन्ट र यो स्किम होन्डा इजी फाइनान्समा पनि लागू हुनेछ
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
Is Dove really different from soap? Ordinary soap dries itself over time. So imagine what it can do to your skin. But Dove is different. Dove contains 1/4 moisturizing cream, richly blended with mild cleansers, making it softer and more radiant. Get your radiance with Dove.
तपाईको कपालमा कसको हुकुम चल्छ स्प्लिटेन्सको जेट या हेयर फलको फैसला हेयर प्रब्लम्स मतलब हेयर ड्यामेज डभको 1/4 मोइस्चराइजिङ मिल्क र केराटिन एक्टिभ्सले कपाललाई भित्रैदेखि रिपेयर गर्छ अब सुन्दर लहलहाउँदो कपाल जसमा चल्छ केवल तपाईको मर्जी डभ तपाईको कपालमा कसको हुकुम चल्छ स्प्लिटेन्सको जेट या हेयर फलको फैसला हेयर प्रब्लम्स मतलब हेयर ड्यामेज डभको 1/4 मोइस्चराइजिङ मिल्क र केराटिन एक्टिभ्सले कपाललाई भित्रैदेखि रिपेयर गर्छ अब सुन्दर लहलहाउँदो कपाल जसमा चल्छ केवल तपाईको मर्जी डभ
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौ फोन पे गरौ
घडी पेट दुख्छ फेरि तितो औषधि
तितो औषधिबाट बच्नु छ भने लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ लिनु आउने गर्ने हातबाट कीटाणु मुखमा खुरु खुरु तब हुन्छ सबै रोग सुरु
त्यसैले लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ यसले दिन्छ कीटाणुहरूबाट 100% स्ट्रङ सुरक्षा
जम्सबाट बच्न अब पाउनुहोस् 100 ग्रामको लाइफ बोय साबुन मात्र रु 45 मा
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
But Saiteja Mukamala continues to be the mainstay. What a fantastic start he's had to his international career. And a local home-produced cricketer, 20 years of age, kind of almost upstaging the bigger names in many ways.
Yeah, it's good to see. Again, you want to see some of the local guys continue to make trends forward, and I think he serves as an inspiration to a lot of the guys coming up. And Utkarsh Srivastava, who's part of the squad for USA, he's just getting to that 19 years old phase, but he would have looked up to Mukamala, and he's following in similar footsteps here.
Yeah, and I love to see youth shine, and it's something that I suppose you think back to the last series prior to this year that USA kind of hosted a high-profile series. That was against Ireland in Lauderhill down in Florida, and you think about some of the kids that were kind of coming through that, Yasser Mohammed, Vatsal Vaghela. There was just a kind of a real anticipation that the next generation was coming through. Probably with the exception of Mukamala, haven't had quite the scale of opportunities that they would have liked. We've seen Rahul Jarawala named as the captain of the A team that will play midweek. There's a good boot from Gulshan Jah. Is probably going to save 3 runs. Let's hope there's no damage done. Is there a kind of feeling in the American cricket community that the youngsters should be getting more opportunities, or do they understand that they have to try and get their best team on the park all the time, USA?
Yeah, I think the hope for the USA team is to have the best 11 out there at all times. And speaking of young talent, this was brilliantly done by Gulshan Jah. Definitely 4 runs. It's almost caromed off and nearly gone back to stumps, so something to watch for. But I think everyone knows that they want the best 11 out there, but I think they're happy to see Mukamala get those opportunities. I think they would like to see Yasser Mohammed get in the mix a little bit more often and see a little bit more of those guys. Rithik Mahera was part of that series as well, hasn't come back to colours. Vatsal Vaghela really had a couple tours after that. Sanjay Krishnamurthy hasn't been back. I think he's the one that people are asking, would he not be in your best 11 right now, just with the Major League he had?
He was brilliant in Major League Cricket, wasn't he?
He was great on this ground, had a 70 to beat the Washington Freedom, the eventual champions, chasing a total, batting at 3 or 4 throughout the tournament. Didn't really have a bowl, but is another one of those left-arm spinners you can operate with. And there's a lot of those young cricketers that are starting to come up. We've seen Ayan Desai get an opportunity to debut. Abhishek Butterkar is part of this side. So you're starting to see the youth continue to influx, with some notable exceptions. But again, I think the best thing for USA is to put the best 11 out there on the field.
Well, fielded again by Bertel down at long on. We've spoken a lot about the batting options, but what about the fast bowling options? With the exception of Ali Khan, who I think clearly USA are saying they can't play him 2 days in a row because he's obviously had some injury problems. There's a lack of pace in this American 11. Brody Couch, someone like Cameron Stevenson, where are those kind of guys?
Yeah, you'd imagine they would have to be on the next in, right? The Brody Couches, the Cameron Stevens, the Cornet Dries of the world, who has become eligible. Again, we've mentioned Ayan Desai. Rushil Agarkar had a great major league. He's someone who's really bright and upcoming in the USA scene. So, again, a lot to lay out for, and I think plenty of improvement to come for the USA. 11 gone at 76 for 3.
Wake up, Addison. Big day, new city, new job.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just rupees 760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the eSewa app and secure your future today.
Rado. Now, his wife's in Denmark on a work trip, and even I was nudging into the frame. Arif Sheikh was in high school with Jay Lamachani. That's the lovely small connection that Nepal has, even though it's a country of 30 plus million people. And we heard from him in the pre-game show. You might not have seen it, but the Nepal players, they are the most wonderful ambassadors, I have to say, and they were happy to give up their time. Asif and Arif, and then Lalit Rajbanshi, who's got the ball in his hand here. I know you had a chat to him. How inspirational a story was that?
He's just so passionate. I think that's the brilliant thing about it. He was just so willing, and the desire to want to follow the team and love that he showed for Nepali cricket. And he also talked about wanting a visually impaired USA cricket team. He wants to be able to play cricket on American soil.
This one's hit into the leg side. Bertel's going to have to go a long way to get there, but he does really well. And it's Kushal Malla who goes with him and affects the direct hit that nearly costs a third. His passion and his knowledge for the game as well, Aman, incredible. He seemed to know everything about Peter de la Pena, every tweet that he's ever sent. He was incredibly complimentary about your commentary, and I think something, I spent a lot of time with him yesterday. He's flown in for both of the games on the weekend and again today. Something we might forget about sometimes here in the box. We're very lucky to be able to call the game, that some people might not be able to actually see it, and our descriptions actually almost providing the pictures for Jay. So been an honour and a pleasure to meet him today, and our thanks to the Nepal team for coming over and spending some time with him before the start of the game.
Yeah, this is what sport's all about, isn't it? There's just nowhere else does this kind of happen, where you see all these communities start to converge and you get to affect people in different ways, and he's affecting us, I think, as much as we affect his viewing experience. And again, so great to hear from him and just have a chat with this guy who's just so clearly so passionate about cricket.
He's also told me that his wife's going to be incredibly jealous that he got to be on global television, interviewed. He did a good job as well, I'll tell you, for someone who might never have been on TV before. But he's coming back next week for the ODIs, and he's going to fly in with his wife. So we'll look forward to seeing them there again. Just one of the story of the thousands of Nepalese origin fans that have visited us here. And they have really made for a spectacular atmosphere. It's the inaugural edition of this Stake Stars and Summits trophy. Do you think it's going to be something that we might see on an annual basis, maybe every 2 years? Could it be brought back to Nepal even?
I hope so. Again, we've seen the Nepali crowd come out here, even the USA fans. I saw Go Pack Joe Phil was here the other night, and so you're seeing the fan bases start to rally around it, and there's certainly rivalry involved. So it would be awesome to see it get back to Kathmandu, maybe get into Nepal with those crowds, and obviously bring it back here to the Grand Prairie Stadium. 12 overs have come and gone. It's 83 for 3.
दाइ फोन पे चल्छ है
चलिहाल्छ नि बस्नुस्
अब पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौं फोन पे गरौं
So still no signs of Dipendra Singh Airi and still no signs of Kushal Bertel. Certainly Rohit Paudel seems to be reading this pitch and maybe the strength of his bowling attack a little bit differently to the way I see it. He's going to continue to go with Gulshan Jha. He bowled all 4 overs consecutively last night, didn't he, in the middle overs, almost performing that Liam Plunkett kind of enforcer role. Is there a reason why he's just choosing not to go with his spinners too often?
I wish I could tell you, Lenny. I wish I could get inside his head, but the way I kind of see the way he's using his options now, these are options that he'll use in the ODI series. Lalit Rajbanshi is going to get overs. You're going to see the fact that Arif Sheikh is going to bowl a couple of overs in this stadium. Goshen Jia will also bowl. So he's just, it seems like, readying his side for the longer formats, getting the pieces that he knows he's going to use consistently out there. And I think he feels very comfortable that whenever he gives Depinder Singh Airi the ball, that he's going to strike no matter what the situation is.
Tell you something Gulshan Jia has been very good at, those leg cutters. Isn't a huge change of action. The arm speed seems to me to be very similar, but there's a big differential then, because Jia is one of the few Nepali pacers who's capable of getting it up north of that 130 kilometers an hour. So when he rolls the finger, that middle finger down the ball and bowls that leg cutter, it just feels as though the timing disappears for the USA batters.
And it's the length that he bowls as well. It doesn't typically pitch it up, so everything's back of a length or on it. And because he's so tall, he gets a little bit of extra bounce, and then the cutter comes in, you're playing for it, and then it's come off the bottom end of your bat.
Kamala just 4 away from what would be another T20 50. USA haven't announced their ODI squad yet. Can't imagine we'll see Ali Khan in it, although we'll have to wait for it to be officially announced. Any insight you've got for us as to who might come in?
Again, we'll have to see what the A team produces, and I know a lot of people want to see some of the youth, Sanjay Krishnamurti, try to get into that squad. I reckon it's going to be pretty similar to the one we saw in Namibia and in the series before that as well in the Netherlands. And again, who that pace option is going to be. Do they keep it with Chinoy Drysdale, Abhishek Butterkar, or do they go back to an Anand Desai?
There's been a few strange ones though as well, isn't there? Someone like a Nitish Kumar was in the T20 squad in Netherlands and in Namibia, but he's not in this T20 squad here. Is he?
No, he isn't. They've elected to
there
go.
There has been some strange stuff, hasn't
there? Right, there has. And Nitish Kumar's been predominantly seen, he was in the T20 side, and Milind Kumar was in the ODI team, and they almost had a role reversal. I think a lot of people expected Milind to be in the T20 side and Nitish Kumar to get more opportunities in the ODI setup, just more natural game for him. But they've seemed to mix around the bats quite well. Milind Kumar has proved to be the right man to be in here, but again, Nitish Kumar not being involved at all would just be very surprising to me. He lives in this area, so it would be an easy call-up for the USA to bring him in.
Yeah, if you're talking about other potential names that could get in the mix, someone like Sushant Madani hasn't been in the mix recently, but he's in that A squad alongside Krishnamurti, Sushant Madani as well. Talented young Skanda Rohit Sharma, who's a good player. Be interesting to see if Anand Desai can maybe force his way in, and a famous name as this is pulled towards the shorter side. One bounce and going to be 4, just out of the grasp of Anil Shah, who went to his right, thought he was interested for a moment, but he couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, real good innings this from Milind Kumar. He's kind of settled in to his batting. He hasn't found much success in this series, but you can see him standing on the crease. He's just waited for the short delivery. He anticipated the cutter there, picked it, and put it away for 4.
Yeah, I was just about to say that there's a famous name in that A squad, which we'll probably ask Peter Della Penna about in the next over. He's coming back in. Young Aaron Nadkarni, son of maybe one of the most famous American players of all time. This time down the ground, Long On's going to have to do well, and it's a misfield. And of all people, it's Kushal Bertel, who's usually outstanding there. I'm not sure he needed to attack it like that. Back-to-back boundaries, closes out the 13th. USA start to move. It's 95 for 3.
1, 2, 5, go!
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा
Regulation by their standards, and just a couple of little fumbles tonight. Always difficult with back-to-back T20Is, all the emotions of Nepal's unassailable series lead. And USA are just brewing something up all of a sudden. Bertel, the ball follows them, and they will get back for a second. Bid farewell for the moment to Aman Patel. Peter Della Penna rejoins me. Peter, you were listening to us talking about American team selection with the number of cricketers across the United States, with the number of leagues. That's going to be 50 for Saiteja Mukamala. We're talking about selection. He couldn't find his way into the starting 11 in the Netherlands, but he's done it now. And what a start he's had to his international career. It's just his 9th T20I, and it's already his 3rd 50. Very well played, young man. 4-4s, 1-6.
You talked earlier about how he's emerged as a role model for a lot of the youngsters coming out of different parts of America. And he's established a new precedent in terms of how to go about forging your way into the USA squad, because it used to be that a lot of players believed they would have to go overseas. As Milan Kumar gets a single here. They thought, well, we're not getting picked developing our cricket in America. If we want to get picked and showcase what we can do, we're going to have to go to university overseas, which is something that Abhishek Paradkar did. He went to university in Leeds. He's a few years older than Sai Mukamala.
Now, full toss, but it might have been hit ever so nearly down the throat of Kushal Bertel. The lack of timing there actually saved Mukamala, and he's going to ask for new gloves.
It was a little bit wet last night in terms of the dew, and that might be something that's starting to take effect. But yeah, Mukamala, he actually went to India when he was a teenager for a brief time, and we'll continue that story after this over. It's 100 for 3 after 14.
Yeah, and Peter, the point I was going to make to you is that there is never a time in American cricket where selection is not a hot topic, and it's purely the volume of cricketers and I suppose the disparity.
No, senor. Picture, please. Picture. Picture coming. Picture.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Momo Mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
Like an Andres House or a Milan Kumar, when you weigh their records up in India and South Africa prior to coming to the USA.
Picked up into the leg side. That's going to be all the way. It's the shorter side of the ground. The USA yesterday just allowed Gulshan Jah to bowl to them through these middle overs. Mukamala recognises that his 4th and final is one that they have to go after, and he starts in perfect fashion.
Here it is again, that front foot pull. That's his trademark shot. Just plants that front foot. Doesn't matter what the length is.
Look who it is on the left of the screen.
Even
there he is.
Jay Lamachane can appreciate the sound coming off the bat of Sai Mukamala.
There he is. He's been hogging the TV time tonight, isn't he, Jay Lamachane?
But to go back to the point about Mukamala, he was coming out of that generation of players who felt initially like, well, I'm behind the 8 ball, the 8 ball being a lot of the players with first-class experience overseas. I'm going to need to prove that I can do it overseas as well. And so he went to Hyderabad for a year. He's got family roots in Telangana, and even though he's born and raised in New Jersey, his dad helped connect him with an academy opportunity in Hyderabad, and he hated it. The plan was to have Sai Mukamala be there for 3-4 years, and he was only there a little more than a year, may have been as little as 15 months, and he said, Dad, I can't take it anymore. I need to come back to New Jersey. And it's a case of a lot of it was off the field stuff. It wasn't just the training, as Milan Kumar is getting some treatment in between deliveries here, but it was a lot of the off-the-field stuff. You go to India, and he might be Indian heritage, but he's the American. He's different. He's not fitting in, maybe. And there were a lot of things that were happening when he went to Hyderabad that he just wasn't enjoying it. And so he said, I want to come back And when he came back, part of wanting to come back, it coincided with the emergence of Major League Cricket, the MLC academies. He was training at Dream Cricket Academy in New Jersey, which became affiliated with MLC, and a lot of the connections that MLC had in terms of providing extra training opportunities.
That's going to be 4. Cut away. Maybe just an over too many for Gulshan Jah. Difficult at any stage of a modern T20 to bowl 4 on the bounce. And they're really going after the young pacer in his 4th and final.
Just too much width there. Milan Kumar uses the pace on the ball to guide this one behind point. Very well timed by Milan Kumar. But MLC, they've created opportunities not just through the MLC squads themselves in minor league cricket, but they've helped build up the infrastructure by enhancing more turf wickets around the country that didn't exist prior to MLC forming. Kamala can set the standard for up-and-coming players that, hey, we don't have to go overseas. We can develop our games on domestic soil in the U.S. because there are more turf wickets available that we can play on and hone our skills. And with the enhanced standard of players that have arrived with the likes of guys like Andres House and Milan Kumar in this squad, and you've got, again, the likes of Corey Anderson, Liam Plunkett, and others around the country, Lin Mokchand, et cetera, that litmus test for a guy like Saimo Kamala, he doesn't have to go overseas. He can test himself in New Jersey, in Texas, to see where he stands.
Half an appeal, as that one's going to angle down the leg side. Leg by given by umpire Bandekar.
And more importantly, he's passed that litmus test. He knows where he stands. He's gotten the opportunities. He's proven himself. He's gotten a half century here. He's had a great start to his T20I career, and he's continuing with a tremendous partnership alongside Milan Kumar. And if more Saimo Kamalas can emerge, like some of the players Ahmed Patel was referencing earlier, Sanjay Krishnamurti, Vatsal Vagela, Ali Sheikh is another, through that A squad, I think that would be a tremendous boost for cricket in America.
It's going to round out Gulshan Jah's spell. His figures somewhat ruined by that 4th and final over, because 14 have come against his figures, 15 in total. End of the 15th, 116 for 3.
तितो औषधिबाट बच्नु छ भने लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ लेनु आउने गर्ने हातबाट कीटाणु मुखमा खुरु खुरु तब हुन्छ सबै रोग सुरु
त्यसैले लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ यसले दिन्छ कीटाणुहरूबाट 100% स्ट्रङ्गर सुरक्षा